Salutations, everybody. This is John Kyle coming to you today with episode 21 of the Dark Matter Myth podcast. This one here is part 2 to the forever fleeting and fragmented truth. Thanks for tuning in. Throughout your life, you will be many things to many people. And among these people, there will be many opinions. Some of which for you will have the utmost respect and praise, and others will be of a derogatory and dismissive nature. And if you were to happen to encounter one of these negative opinions of yourself, there will be an after effect of negative resonance you experience upon your person. If such opinions and such resonance continues to persist over a long period of time, one may begin to believe all of the negative opinions that are said about themselves. This is dangerous because ultimately the only opinion that will ever matter is yours. The only experience you will ever have is yours. So at any time, if we tend to concede to ourselves based on the opinions of others, what we're really doing is submitting to the realities and the personal truth of other people's experience. This is unnecessary because every person, every place, and everything you will ever meet or ever encounter will be placed as an image inside of your head. In other words, they will become fragments of your own imagination. So by definition, anytime we capitulate or anytime we break down and give in to the burdensome opinions of others, without argument, what we're really doing is conceding to fragments and figments of our own imaginations. All we have and all we ever will have, everything we muster and everything we manifest, everything we wear and everything we put on to portray ourselves with, every movement, every smile, every twitch, every article that we write, every declaration and every constitution that is written are all figments and fragments of the human imagination. One of the greatest fragmentations of the human imagination that was put forth was the fragmentation of the concept of God. Many of us were taught, including myself, that the concept of humans and God are separate and one apart from each other. We were taught that God is over there and we're over here, and God is watching us and judging us from afar. And while I believed this for most of my life, I've always felt that something was wrong with this interpretation. Because under this same line of thought, it is safe to say that God lives within each and every one of us. On that note, I have a question for you. Do you believe that God lives within you? Even just a little bit. Can you feel the spirit of God in you? Can you sense the energy or consciousness of something greater than both you and I in our current form? I pose that question to address another question. People have asked, if there is a God, then why does he allow so much brutality to ensue? Why did God allow the Holocaust? Why does God allow war? Why does God allow torture and slavery? Why does God allow inhumanity on behalf of religion? It doesn't make sense. It makes complete sense, and I'll tell you why. We've already established that God is within each and every one of us. By understanding this, when it comes to tragedy, when it comes to suffering, when it comes to large acts of violence and war and genocide and massacres of every scale, it is the human being, it is the body that bears the brunt of the damage and trauma. But it is the totality of God that lives within each and every one of us that will experience and endure every last bit of devastation, calamity, and catastrophe that any human being, or any groups of people, or any living thing for that matter, will ever have to experience. While we interpret misfortune on an individual level, from a position of juxtaposition and everything in between, near and far, God experiences everything, all of our pains, all of our joys, all of our accomplishments, and all of our downfalls in a much more accumulative fashion. And this is because God is within us. We are the fragmented physical manifestation of God. And this fragmentation is so great that there are parts of the manifestation willing to kill me, willing to end the manifestation I am speaking from in order to bring peace to other parts of the manifestation that don't know that they are, in fact, parts of the manifestation themselves. These emotions and these personal truths, in contrast to each other, increases the fruitfulness of the overall experience, because every interaction leads to more possibilities. And the greater amount of possibilities there are, and in connection to the variety of different types of observers, and through their experience, through our experience of just being, we contribute our experiences back to the source, where the ultimate purpose of its initial expansion was to gather information using its many observers in order to do so. In light of this fact-finding mission, the observationers have deemed the experience to be many things. It's been too hot, too dry, too cold, too windy, too bare, too draining, too dense, too lackluster, too dark, too windy, too wet, too empty, too boring, too overwhelming, too depressing, too bitter, too dangerous, and perhaps for anyone listening, much too comfortable. Touché. For myself, it's been too unappealing, too dramatic, too hypocritical, too ironic, too funny, too unbelievable, too see-through, too dark, too taxing, too questionable, and too hurtful. But in understanding my relationship to my personal truth, the power of my own perspective, and my role as an observer, I now find this experience perfectly miraculous, balanced, and much more gratifying than I ever have before. Even though I know the experience here may be just a little too short. So, this is a good place to end it. Once again, this is John Kyle coming to you today with the Dark Matter Myth Podcast. This is episode 21, The Forever Fleeting and Fragmented Truth, Part 2. I think this was a special one right here because I really laid it out. You know, this is one of those types of episodes where I either lose a lot of followers or gain a lot of followers, you know. But if you enjoyed the message, please share, like, subscribe, buy something out of my store to keep me out of poverty. Tell somebody about the brand, tell somebody about what I'm doing. Email me, leave a review. Just contribute to the message I'm spreading, to the product I'm building, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. It's a lot of work, but I am having fun doing this, and I hope with whatever I'm doing, I'm able to contribute a sense of fulfillment to you and whatever you're doing throughout your day. So, once again, this is John Kyle signing off. The Dark Matter Myth Podcast. The Dark Matter Myth comic book series and merchandise and clothing, all available at the website. And peace and much love.